podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books. Hi, welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned Podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Sarah, and tonight we are here with Julie Sherman Wolfe. Thank you for being here, Julie.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We're excited to have you. This is fun. We've been stalking you for a long time since Rama Drama, and then with all the festivities that happened last week.
Yeah. I'm still recovering from all of that. It still doesn't seem, I feel like I fully haven't processed that evening because it was so insane.
I feel like we should start with that.
Okay.
Well, let's start saying what movie we're talking about, and then
right,
like everyone reads our mind, please.
Yes.
So this is about a holiday spectacular, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually going to premiere Sunday, November 27th, 7 Central. But the Hallmark Channel hosted this like kick-off to Christmas event last week, and you were there, and was your movie featured?
Yes. So that was one of the many insane, surreal things was that it was the first movie premiere in 40 years at Radio City. And
I did not know that.
Yeah. So just, having it on the screen, I'm sitting there. The Rockettes have already come up and performed and then come back down and disappeared back down the stage. And then the movie starts and, they're running the movie. And it turns out that my written by credit was on the same shot as Anne Margaret. So I have that picture, which is it's crazy. And then there's a bus that we all get on to get to the Radio City, and there's a crocheted sweater on the bus, and all the actors are on the top of the bus, and I have all these random selfies with all the Hallmark people, and I sneak off the bus because nobody's there to see me. Really, honestly, people are there to take pictures of the Hallmark actors, and then we get in there, and there's a huge party, and there's a red carpet, and there's Hallmark just spared no expense in making an awesome premiere party, and then just to have the Rockettes perform before and after the show. And then my favorite Broadway actress of all time just walks out and starts singing. And Kristen Chenoweth.
Yes.
And they didn't tell me, and I literally lost it. I just could not control. I was just crying. And then I'm like, oh my God, she's going to bring, and then it occurred to me, in real time, in an instant, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to bring Gina Clara Mason out there, and and she was Glinda, and Kristen was the first Glinda, and Gina Claire was the 16th Glinda. And if they sing for good, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And they did. And I was just like, and just my husband is just like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not. He has a recording of it with the teleprompter, right in front of Gina Claire. So I have relied on other people's recordings, but I have the sound of it, and I just listened to it over and over and over. It was so beautiful. And Gina Claire sang the Elphaba part, and it was just amazing. And then we had an awesome time at the after party, and my son and my husband were with me. So my son's partying it till 1 a.m. He's 13 years old, not partying, but you know what I mean? He's schmoozing, he's hanging out. I'm like, yeah, you need to go to bed. You need to go upstairs. It was just a crazy, incredible evening. The name of the movie was on the marquee at Radio City, which is it's all, I love writing for Hallmark, and I never want to do anything else, but I never thought that is where I would end up, and it's just what ended up happening was my cousin, who lives in New York City, he's a choreographer, was high school friends with the woman who at the time was in charge of Madison Square Garden entertainment. And that's basically how we got in the room.
No way.
And so that's what made it so crazy to me, is just I can't believe all of this just happened out of that meeting.
That's crazy.
And it took, the Hallmark had to pull, it was a miracle that it actually got made and all the things that happened. But initially just, me and my cousin was there, and then our executive Samantha, and we just, is that first meeting. It was 3 years ago. And
wow. That's crazy. So that's been in the works that long.
Yeah. Because, we sort of wrote it and developed it during COVID. So it was just a lot of conversations on Zoom, and, we had time because no one could come back and do. And then when we did shoot it, it was in January, and there was still really strict rules and, all that stuff. So it was still a little bit hairy. And I think only one person ended up getting sick, and it wasn't none of the actors, but it turned out fine. But it's a little sketchy, it's a little hairy when you're the whole production might depend on every day having a test.
Right.
So, but it turned out great. And I loved it. I hadn't really seen, I saw sort of the 80% version. I hadn't seen the whole version until that night. And the fact that my son, who has only cried in one movie, which was Toy Story 4.
Okay, which was appropriate. That was appropriate.
He cried, and my husband cried, and people really, really seemed to like it. And I thought it looked like a theatrical motion picture, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's going to be.
Can you tell us a little bit of about the plot of the movie?
Yeah, she's an heiress that lives on the main line in Philadelphia, which is sort of the Philadelphia Story neighborhood.
Yeah.
From back in the day. And she's in sort of an arranged marriage. It's 1958. And she actually has what she really has a passion for and a love for is her dancing. That's kind of her only escape from this sort of, planned reality of her life that she feels like she has no escape from. And then she ends up sort of happening upon an audition for the Rockettes and does it sort of on a whim. Well, obviously I'm not going to do it. I can't because I'm getting married in April. And, cut to, she ends up finding a way to get herself to New York and find an excuse to go. And it's, there is a romance, and it's Jarrett Klena. He's the lead in Moulin Rouge, and he's amazing. He's so charming. You guys will love him. He is so great. Both of them are so charming and wonderful. And just because they're not, not in the Hallmark stable of actors, but they are wonderful actors. And
they're amazing.
They have an amazing rapport together. And there's that story, but then the bigger story for the Rockettes, which is real, is the sisterhood that these women have together. Right. And they're all such strong women. And it's always been like that. So it's almost like getting a window into the beginning of when, seeing how these women, even in the 50s, when it was really hard to sort of be a dancer in New York City and not have you be looked down upon, to now when it's, an iconic thing that every, a lot of girls dream about, but that had to happen. It had to start somewhere. And so that's sort of what that story is, that these girls that kind of show up and they're stuck together, and they have to figure out their personalities, and we learn about them, and they all have their own stories. So there's her roommate and has her own story, and then there's two other dancers that have their own stories.
Okay.
A lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Sequels.
I highly doubt it. But that's I think this is a once in a lifetime situation. Yeah.
It's always fun though when you get to know the other characters, the supporting characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. Yeah, for sure. So the good news is that I believe they're running an extended version when they premiere it on the 27th.
Amazing.
Well, there's a lot. And so they didn't I know there's a short, like a normal 2-hour. I believe this one's going to be longer. The one they showed at the thing was about 15 minutes or maybe 10-15 minutes longer than normal, because there is a lot happening. And why not? If they want to do it, great. So it's like the director's cut.
I love that that there's a potential for a director's cut. So
don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
Might happen. I could see that happening though, because people are really talking about this. So did you know you were going to have the Rockettes when you wrote the script?
Yes, because we had to make the deal first, or not me, but like the powers that be had to make. We had to make the deal, but then, but to get the deal, I had to write the story and the outline, and that took a long time to get through. A lot of different people and a lot of different entities are involved, because you have all of the Rockettes, and that they have to approve it because this is their first movie.
Right.
Really, this is like the first time that this story has been told. I took it really, really, what I mean? There's a lot of responsibility on my end to make sure that this is told well. They need to make sure that it's told the way that, works for them. And Hallmark needs to make sure it's told in a way that works for them. So that's why when I talk about Samantha, she's Samantha DePippo, she's the executive on the project. We worked really, really closely together for so long on it, just to get the tone right and get the, get that 50s vibe right, and get the, all the little things. And I'm glad it took that long, because we really, really fine tuned it to by the end that, it is what it is. Like I feel like you feel like you're in 1958 and you don't feel like you're watching a period piece. I feel like you're there, you're in it.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah. Is it challenging to do that, to write like back in time?
Yeah, you know what I did? I just wrote it kind of how I would normally write stuff, and then I would sort of go back and do a pass with what I had was just all these, and I printed out because I'm an old person, I guess. I printed out a bunch of because I wanted them all next to me, right? So I printed out all these 1950s slang, dictionaries, and just every time there was a word that kind of sat there, I would see, well, is there a slang for this? And I didn't go overboard with it, but just enough to get a vibe, like let's split instead of let's go, just like little stuff like that. But you don't want to overdo it and make it seem like it's just a caricature of the time, so that's what it was. So but it's fun to do it because it's a faster paced dialogue sometimes with all the women that are together and all that stuff. So I like doing that too.
Right. So sorry, Julie, go ahead.
I was just going to say, some of those movies in that time period had that style to them too, where there was some fast dialogue.
Yes, so we wanted to kind of emulate that. But, there's a big difference between like the 1930s sort of, It Happened One Night, sort of like His Girl Friday, all that stuff. There's a difference between that and the 50s movies, which was like Pillow Talk and all that kind of stuff that had that brightly colored, and everything had subtext and all that stuff. It was a different thing. So you kind of had to decide about which we really had to stick with fast paced and kind of fast paced, but not you don't want it to look like a 1930s movie either.
Right.
So hopefully
I love period.
Hopefully we got it right.
I'm excited for this one.
As a writer, was it fun to be at the premiere where people are reacting to what you've written in a room?
Yeah, that was really fun. Chad, I saw your comment. That's hilarious. He just said, I can't wait to see you dancing with the Rockettes. Yeah, no. So wait, what was the question?
We're all distracted. We're all waiting. Yep, Julie's gonna dance.
I'm all picturing myself like, no, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. No, the premiere. Yeah, it was really cool. At the beginning, I was way up front, so I couldn't really hear everything, but I come out of comedy, so I was just like making sure everybody was laughing at the right parts, and they're all kind of character jokes and not, it was all jokes that came out of the situation, not just bung type of stuff, right? So I was making sure everybody kind of got the humor, and that was working. And there was some reactions when there was a twist, and I could hear like, oh, that. And one part was funny. There was a line, and all of a sudden there was all this giggling in the back, like by a lot of like laughing, and I'm like, I don't know why people are laughing at that. That's so weird. That's not a comedy line. I found out very shortly after the movie ended, there was like 200 former Rockettes in the audience. And the line they were laughing at is when they basically tell her she can take the afternoon off and go take care of something. And that they'll have a swing take her place and they all just thought that was hilarious because that would never happen.
Never happen.
No, like, go ahead and take care of your personal business, and just we'll take care of it. And they thought that was hilarious. But for a while I was like, oh my God, did I miss something? What did I do? Like, what's wrong in that scene? That's no,
that's not happening. So it was very much there.
We're gonna have to. That'll be a script buy, as they say. Like, you have to. Right. Those 200 gals are going to be like, no way. But everyone else will be like, yes, that sounds fine. Someone will take her place for that day.
But they love that it's no way. And they all think that too. So that's actually perfect, right?
It was cute. Yeah, it was fun. Right. I'm glad I found that out though, because I was very confused. It was such a non-line,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was a thing.
Yeah. And my husband's like, why are they, wait. And Connor, my son's like, why are they, what's going on? I'm like,
I would have been so paranoid the whole movie.
It was really fun. And actually, I will say at the beginning, I'm like, okay, this is good, right? Is this good? Is everybody, I was just really nervous for probably the first 20 minutes. Like, are people engaged? And then I realized people were really engaged in the story. And then everybody afterwards were so kind in what they were saying about it and saying, oh, that made, it was so emotional. I loved it. It was so wonderful. Like, people were really so lovely about it afterwards. So now, and I knew people liked it. I knew the people that had watched it really, really liked it. But you're the writer, you're the creator of something, and you never really know. You can think it's something amazing, but that doesn't mean everybody else is going to think it's amazing.
Right? I will have to say, when we were at Rama Drama, we got to watch a live premiere, and it was so fun to watch the movie as a group. And so
it is.
when that event was happening, I'm just gonna say we were like FOMO, fear of missing out. We're like, we wish we were there. We know it's fun.
It
right?
was really fun. I do have friends over for all the big movies. I do like that. It's fun. It is fun to have everybody
Yeah.
reacting and all that
Right.
stuff. That's why I like to go to set when we do shoot, because we sit in our little room and do our thing, and it's nice to get out and be part of something bigger. So that was the ultimate something bigger, was going to Radio City and all the other actors. And I know a lot of them obviously from all these other movies, and it was just really, really fun. It felt like a family reunion. And I think it was like the first really, really big Hallmark party since COVID. So it was great.
Right. No, it's super fun. And Hallmark knows how to throw a party, which we figured that out at that premiere at Round Drummer. We're like, oh, they know how to throw a party. This is really throwing a party, man.
They're,
New York City,
they're a classy bunch over there.
Sweater bus. Right.
Yeah, the sweater. It's a good place to be. I love what's happening over there right now too. It's just like opening up a lot more avenues for us to work in, and I don't think this is something we could have done a few years ago.
But now it's fun to have something that's not your basic cookie cutter formula. We've got something completely different happening here. Was that fun to write something a little different outside of that movie of the week?
Yeah, but I will say it still has the Hallmark arc to it. There's still
you still need that arc,
romance, and stuff still has to happen at a certain time in the movie, and you have to have your all is lost moment at a certain time of the movie and all that stuff. So that's all still there, but it's surrounded with all this other amazing stuff. I mean, I will say, like, when the Rockettes came out, I'm sitting there and they're like 2 feet in front of my face. That was another somebody had mentioned in the comments how emotional they were when they saw them in person. That's exactly, there's something about the unity of the group. And I get this way when I hear people sing like the national anthem, or I get that way at parades. Like there's something about unity and community when something's happening together that always gets me very emotional. And I don't know what it is. I think about the Rockettes is it's so unified and beautiful that it's emotional to watch them. It's just so, even Connor, my son, he was just like, wow, I didn't realize that was how amazing how hard that is and how amazing it is. He thought it was just kicks.
Yeah.
And it's not. Yeah. So
they're mesmerizing. Individually, they're fantastic, but as a group, it's something greater than any individual component.
Right.
So.
And that's a lot of what the movie is that, it's about is that sisterhood and that family. And as, one person, you're strong and you have, you're going about your life, but when you're together, it's much stronger. And that's the metaphor that their kick line is literally the metaphor for what they are to each other, even now, currently. Like it's a very, very strong bond that they have forever. It's really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and once you're a Rockette, you're always a Rockette. You're never not a Rockette. Right. So that they're always part of the family. Right.
Yep. Yes. Exactly.
That's amazing. So it's super fun to think about this movie coming out and getting a little peek into that world, really.
I'm going to answer Niner Girl's question because I'm a Niner fan, big time.
She's a huge Niner fan. I'll tell you that for sure.
I'm from San Francisco, and so I grew up going. So I'm like, so whoever Niner Girl is, good. Anyway, yes, it was written specifically for Hallmark.
Hi, Angela.
Yes,
it's Angela.
Yes.
Angela will feel my pain when I tell her that my family and I went to Atlanta for the game and spent lots of money to go see the 49ers play and be terrible.
Sorry. So sorry. We feel your loss.
Yeah.
We feel your loss. I'm looking through. We have questions, but now where are we?
Did you have like a scene that you wrote that when you were writing it, you really loved it, but then watching it on scene, like, was it even better than you imagined when you were watching it in front of you at the theater?
For this movie,
in particular, yep.
I think the scene where they walk in and see Radio City and sort of look back on the stage and see and have that moment, the way that John Putch is the director, and he's fantastic, and just the way that shot is, it just really shows the enormous space that the Radio City stage is, and you really get a feel for what that would feel like for her, and it definitely was more than I could have described on the page. It was a really nice moment where you really get that she's feeling all the things that you feel like, okay, I just left my family and, they don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing here? Oh my God. It's all that stuff. And is the acting and the directing together at that moment really beautiful.
I love that. We'll watch for that. That partnership is really fascinating to us, I think, as viewers.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any like little Easter egg or little thing in a scene we should look for in the movie?
Well, they're Easter eggs you're not going to care about. Here are some. There's my sister's last name is, there's a woman on a party line that's talking that you hear that name. One of the characters' last name is one of my friends here. Yes. And I kind of based the character on her a little bit. So like that's the kind of stuff, like I normally put more Easter eggs in a normal movie, but this one, it couldn't really do too much. But there's just like like the store name, like the grocery store that the guy's family owns, that's a friend's name on the front. And I try not to tell anybody about it until it airs, because sometimes things disappear.
Right.
I've disappointed so many people saying, "Oh, I have your name. Your name is the lead," and then right before they shoot, they're like, "Yeah, you can't use that name." And I have to break it to whoever it was. So now I don't tell anybody. These ones I know are legit. They're in.
Because you've seen it.
So and I recorded that one little part to send to her. So So that's what my other Easter in the Hanukkah movie we can talk about. I have more. There's that whole entire movie is a giant Easter egg.
Perfect. As it should be.
Yeah.
So
I'm super pumped for that movie, actually, because I feel like that's going to be fun.
That one's going to be fun.
So we're talking about Hanukkah on Rye.
Let's do it. Move on.
Sure.
And that premieres on Sunday, December 18th on Hallmark.
Yes. So that one, I wanted to do a Hanukkah. I'm Jewish, but I love Christmas. So if you drove by my house, you would say, well, somebody in there must not be Jewish, because look at all those lights and all this stuff for Christmas. And we just love it as just a beautiful Hallmark holiday. Right. We love it for that.
Right.
But I did want to write one of the Hanukkah movies, and my family and Liz Yost, who is the other executive that I work with the most there, both of our families came through Ellis Island and had kind of different immigration stories, but I really wanted to we wanted to do something about that. And then also my favorite thing, which is Jewish deli. And so we decided to make a story about two families. One came to New York and they stayed in Lower East Side and opened a deli that's been open for 100 years. And another family like mine who went to California and made their way there. And now they have a deli in California, which is it's a completely different feel. Their deli is much more modern and they change things all the time. And the one in New York has been the same, and it's going to be the same. So there's kind of these two delis. Meanwhile, the daughter and the son, they don't know that they are part of these families, but they are introduced by a matchmaker. And so it's a little bit like that shop around the corner thing where they are sparring professionally, but also this is a matchmaker who insists on doing things the old fashioned way. So they're writing letters. They can't Google each other. They don't know each other's real names. They have to get to know each other through letter writing, but at the same time, they're falling in love in real life, even though his family's coming in to basically ruin everything by being their competition right on the same street that they're on. And they're like one of the last delis left. So it's really fun. And there's, a lot of food. There's always a lot of food in my movies. And it's just, it's one of my favorite scripts I've ever written, actually. If it wasn't for the Rockettes, I'd say that, you know what I mean? Like, it's a tough one this year. They're so completely different, but I'm really looking forward to it. But there's just, we got as many of our family names as we could in there.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of them we couldn't do because of legal reasons or whatever. Yeah. But I did manage to get the deli named after my grandmother's maiden name, Gilbert's. So it's Gilbert's Deli, and they just sent me, and I had to pay, obviously. They're not just sending me this, but I got the giant neon sign that says Gilbert's, and I paid for like all of it, but they would have just put it in a warehouse forever.
Yeah. Right.
So someday we'll have a basement that has, walls and
Of
a
cool
ceiling.
things on it.
I'll put it in a pub, and so that's what we're doing with that one. Yeah.
I'm excited for this because I love that trope. Like In the Good Old Summertime is one of my favorites because I'm a big Judy Garland fan. And I'm picturing Kat's Deli because
that's what you should picture.
Yes, because that's where we always go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So
I'll just sit here and sip on my coffee because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Katz is sort of the oldest Jewish deli in New York City, and it's in that neighborhood. So I actually was down there doing research and making sure I was kind of getting the geography right with what we were talking about. And we're talking about like the tenements that they used to live in. It wasn't just Jewish people, immigrants. It's always been different groups of immigrants over the years that had lived in those buildings before they were sort of, okay, these aren't safe places to live anymore. Obviously, they're not safe. They were, they're like this wide and 25 feet long, and there's no air, and there's 25 people packed in. It's just not a good situation. So doing that research, went to the museum and all that stuff. But Katz is sort of that last standing old school, history of it. And there are more modern ones, but that's sort of the standard of the historical ones. So that's what we're doing.
Katz was in When Harry Met Sally.
Yes, that's that's where, and you go in there and you go to the table. There's a big sign above it that says, "Yes, this is the table where Sally had her moment."
Which is spectacular. It's iconic for so many reasons.
Yeah. Someone just said Second Avenue Deli. You know what? So we went to Second Avenue Deli on Friday night. No, wait, did we go? Yeah, before the premiere. That's where Liz and I went there as sort of to celebrate, like the movie and just have a dinner up there, and it was just as good as I was hoping it would be. We have one little Jewish deli in Connecticut, and it's half an hour from here, and it's great, but it's not convenient.
Right. No, that sounds amazing. You had me at Rye anyways, so like if there's anything on Rye, I'm there. So
around the holidays, we'll normally just get random shipped like cat sausage or whatever. Like my husband has 2 brothers, and then they just like ship each other.
Oh, really?
Cats.
I mean, once you have a craving for it, like that's just, you have to get it. Now that they can deliver stuff anywhere, pretty much,
It's not the same, but it's a nice like nod to,
I'm making myself hungry just talking about this right now, and there's nothing I can do about this. It's,
I'm gonna have to go to New York and find cats. I didn't even know it was a thing, and
yeah, you should definitely do it. Yeah, it's fun. And then this whole, for me, it's funny that this holiday season ended up being so New York centric in modern time. Actually, both in the past in a way. So I'm sort of doing historical New York, but one of them is just being referred to, and one of it's literally there.
Yeah.
But they don't go away. They don't go too far out of Midtown, really, in the Rockettes. It's all kind of right there in that same little neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. So how fun was it just to write dialogue for Hanukkah on Rye, though?
Oh, it was great because it's just, that's just my natural, I can write. I'm really good at guilt. I can do that. I can write guilt. Just the kind of the banter is very, the banter is very natural for that. And so that's why I really enjoyed writing all that. Having I have two bubbies, as they call the grandmothers. There's 2 bubbies. There's just all of it. And so somebody asked me at Hallmark, do you want to think about next Hanukkah? And I said, I don't think I have anything left. I think I gave you all of my Jewishness. I have nothing. It's gone. Like I don't know what else to do.
It's not that in a couple months you'll have something. You'll be like, wait, actually, I got something. Let's go.
But I am a fan. Listen, I'm the first to admit this is definitely like a trope we've all seen. It's like it is shop around the corner, and you've got mail, and it's all that's just it's just the Hallmark Jewish version of that. So
yeah, no, it sounds perfect. I'm all in.
It sounds really fun.
It does. It sounds
like it. I think they just finished like last week. So I hear from what I've seen, it looks great. And Peter DeLuise is directing, and he directed probably my favorite non-Christmas movie that I wrote, which was Birthday Wish. And he's really good at like at comedy. So I know he found a lot of little other moments in
Can't
there.
imagine how he got good at comedy.
I know, right?
He wasn't exposed to that at all as a child.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, so I'm sure I have all the faith in the world that it's going to be great. So I'm excited to see it. I should probably ask to see it. I should probably call somebody and ask if I can see it.
Send me something so I can see it.
Before I talk about it to everybody.
I had to die right when I'm reading the little like descriptor for it. It's like a matchmaker, and I'm like, and now without even taking a breath, the song is playing in my head because I think I posted the Insta stories even with matchmaker playing on it because it's like, well, obviously there's one song that's growing up with this.
Yes, and I do have a nod to the movie in there. I do because
a little Fiddler on the Roof movie.
I do have a little fiddler nod in there because she says like, it's like Tevye, and he's like, who? And she's appalled that he's never seen it.
Oh, come on.
I mean, not honestly, like I don't think I saw it until, I was an adult.
Oh, really? Because my small children, my daughter at like, think a year and a half would take my husband's hand to put Fiddler on the Roof in because she wanted to dance with Tevye.
Oh, no, it's like, okay, it's like this. It's like,
if I was a rich man, she loved it a year and a half.
I think it's funny. Like, I don't know why. We just never did. And I always say it's like I'm a 5th generation San Franciscan and I'd never been to Alcatraz. Okay, so my family's been there since like 18 whatever, and I'd never gone to Alcatraz. It's the same thing. Like I'm Jewish, but I hadn't seen Fiddler on the Roof. My husband finally forced me.
Good for him. Good for him. Well, the Lutheran Scandinavians in Minnesota raised their children on Fiddler on the Roof.
Funny. I mean, that's I think the cool thing about the Hanukkah movie is that ultimately it's still a Hallmark movie and it's still a fun romance, and it's just there's nothing inaccessible if you don't know anything about the Jewish community or Hanukkah. It's very light and fun, but then you do actually get to learn a little bit about like kind of the history, but not too in your face. It's not trying to be I'm not trying to win an Emmy or something, but you know what I mean? Like it's not a very special episode, but it's but it has that depth to it. It does have that history to it, and it's important for these families. Mm-hmm. They're both trying to honor their family's history, but they have different ways that they're going about it. And so the whole thing is, can these two families find a way to merge those things together?
Are they Romeo and Juliet, or they actually get together? Right.
I mean, it's a Hallmark movie.
Right. Exactly. So we know what's happening. We know what's happening.
I would place your bets on the
they're gonna get together.
Oh, we have a good idea.
If there's ever one where they don't, I I guess maybe someday, but I don't think so. I don't think that's what people want. I think they want the good stuff. That's why I love doing it.
It's, sometimes like I turn on the TV because I'm specifically looking for that feel good moment, or I want to know the arc, because there's a lot sometimes in your people's lives where they don't have control, or there's chaos in their life and they want something that they can predict. But I do really enjoy the journey there. If it's got some creativity, there's great banter, there's some depth. I love that, to bring in those family backgrounds and stuff. That makes it so much more interesting.
I love that you said that. That's what I usually have to say that when someone says, well, how can you write the same thing so many times? That's exactly what you just said. It's not, because we all know what the ending is. It's just that journey. And I still have enough in me, maybe not for Hanukkah, but I definitely have enough in me for everything else, especially because we're getting to expand our reach a little bit and just talk about different stuff. And so it gives you more room for more new ideas, that even if it's not Christmas. But listen, I love Christmas movies. I love writing them. I love watching them. I love everything about them. So that's why I'm so proud to be part of all this. Because right when it's the biggest thing is Hallmark in the last few years, it's just been really cool to be part of that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had a question, kind of just steering off a little bit about how you just made the comment about how things have been changing at Hallmark, and it's given you a little bit more freedom to tell different stories or tell them in a different way. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How can I phrase this? But just like, how does it kind of free you up a little bit? And
well,
and
it's just
take it a little bit, things in a little bit slightly different manner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just recognizing, just just opening our space to other people and other communities that may not have had as much representation as they had, as they would have wanted. So it's really that's really what it is. It's just that, you're expanding that pool of stories to tell, because it's not just one story anymore. So that's what it is. And it's, not every movie is going to be this wildly different thing from the Hallmark thing, but and you still feel, most of them are, no matter who it's about, you're still having the warm fuzzies. It's just about different kinds of people, different, it's just opening it up. That's pretty much it. So for me, that's what the best part about it is. It's just like kind of expanding the network, wanting to make everybody still feel the same feelings that they get and that's what I think that's the best part about what's been happening, is that you're still getting those feelings, but you're just getting it from a broader base. You're just getting it from different areas and different angles.
I think it brings more. So it's how do you get from point A to point B? So that's that storytelling, and it brings you in a lot, opens up how the depth that can be used there, or the stories or the backgrounds. I just feel like it's opening things up way more, and we can see stories going from point A to point B, maybe that haven't been told as well before. So we're
allowed to put a little more humor in it, which is great, because that's my happy place. Yeah. So used to be a little bit harder to get the jokes in there, and now it's not as hard, and so that's been really good. And I mean, it's good.
We're enjoying the jokes, actually. We're enjoying the little more humor in the Hallmark movies, so that's been a nice change.
I mean, even for Holiday Spectacular, that's what I loved, is that I know people were laughing and I know people were crying, and feeling both of those things, and that's what else can you ask for? It's pretty satisfying.
Awesome. That's really satisfying. I'm like, dude, we just we do a bunch of research, we write a bunch of questions, and then we just chat. And sometimes I'm like, wait,
we're getting to look at the list.
Do we have a list? Where are we at? If I had anything else I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite scene in the Hanukkah and Rye movie?
Oh my gosh. Yes. All right. And I don't know if anybody will get this, but I have had a battle with my husband for 20 years about the proper way in which to stack the toppings upon a bagel.
Okay.
And it's a bit, it's we're talking capers, onions, tomatoes, lox, cream cheese, and maybe cucumber if you're feeling daring. Mm-hmm. But people have very, very strong opinions about this. And so I just wrote a scene between the two leads of them having a fight, basically a bantery fight about the proper way to stack toppings on a bagel. And it's just cute. I just think it's cute. You know what I mean? It's just like you could only do that in that movie. Mm-hmm. Right. You're not seeing that scene any other time of year in any other movie. That's why I liked it. Obviously. Oh, and then I can't give away too much stuff. There's stuff you definitely haven't seen before, though. And it has to, Lisa Loeb is in it.
Yeah.
So there may or may not be a Hanukkah song you haven't heard before.
Okay. Can't wait.
And
Hanukkah needs a few more songs. I'm just gonna say
you're gonna laugh. Remember that you just said that when you watch the movie, because you're gonna laugh. And then I just do little things like my claim to fame as a kid was that I could spin a dreidel upside down. So you spin it like this, and it lands on its top, so it's upside down, and that's in there. Like just little. I like that, but the bagel thing is my favorite thing.
Okay, and what is the correct way to stack a bagel?
Well, this will be so controversial. Watch, that'll be the controversial thing that I say. I hate capers rolling off the bagel onto the floor,
Right.
onto the ground. Okay, capers, little tiny pickles for anyone
Yes.
not eating capers. So I like to put them. This is blasphemy. This is why my husband gets mad at me. I smush them into the cream cheese first. Okay,
Yes.
I smash them into the
You put the cream cheese on first,
cream cheese first,
then the
smash
capers.
the capers in.
I feel like that's
Yes.
logical.
Okay. Then I
Yeah.
put the tomato and the onions, and then I put the lox on top as like a little blanket that
Hold
holds
it all
everything.
together.
It holds it everything in, and then because you'd never listen. If you're gonna eat a bagel like a sandwich, closed face, just you can't even talk to me. Don't even talk to me. But it has to be open.
Needs to be open.
Open in that way, and then you have this nice little thing, and then everything's in every bite, and then that's it. So that'll be the
That makes sense to
controversy.
me. I'm going to say probably the most blasphemy thing ever. I have never seen that. I've never seen a bagel with lox, or I've never seen it.
Have you? So that means you haven't eaten it.
I haven't eaten it. I've
You
never
haven't
seen
had
it.
bagel on lox?
But I would put the little things into the cream cheese every time I do Scandinavian things with cream cheese. But that cream cheese is there as the glue.
Cream cheese.
It's the glue.
You guys eat smorgas. Did you see that thing on Great British Baking Show? That smorgas tart or something? It was like a fish cake.
Okay.
That was Scandinavian, and I thought it looked so gross. I'm like, bagel and lox is
No.
way easier.
Catherine, are you on here still? What are you talking about? No. Like, we have weird things around here. Lefse and the fish and lye.
Like smorgas tart or something like that. It looked like a birthday cake, but it was fish. It was just
No. We don't eat that in Minnesota. That didn't come with. But we do have the weird fish that's in lye that I don't eat that either. But lefse, now that is delicious.
We need a Hallmark food festival.
That would be amazing. A good
yeah.
Swedish princess tort. I've made that. Mary Berry's got it in her book.
There you go.
And that's a good Swedish tort. That's delicious. But I'm gymnastics delayed. Well, lutefisk. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody asked the thing, did I write the role for Lisa? Well, it's yes, but it's not. I can't explain it. You'll see. Yes, I did, but it's
right.
Yeah, you'll see. I can't.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
Without giving it away. I don't want to get in trouble.
It's going to be so much fun. I'm actually really pumped about that. I mean, the first one, a holiday spectacular, it's a spectacular, right? That's what people are there for. That's why it was the kickoff, because it's literally a spectacular.
Yeah, it's a big production.
It's literally a kick line. Yeah. Right. But the Hanukkah on rye, once I saw what that was, I'm like, oh, I'm all in for this, because there's gonna be banter. I love banter. Yeah, we love dynamics. Sarah and I both. We like those.
It's very. I mean, it's a deli, and there's people sitting at the counter, and that's just all you need. There's old people bantering. You can't lose with that.
Spectacular. Wait, there's old people bantering. Is it like the old Muppet Show and the guys used to?
A couple times, yeah, because there's Bubby, that she's there, and then there's a nice man that sits at the end of the counter that may or may not have his eye on her. So, and they bicker. And
that means
I would recommend this. I would say have deli food around when you watch that movie, or latkes or anything, because that movie will make you hungry. And then for Holiday Spectacular, that's just, I think that's going to be one of those that, everyone's full from Thanksgiving and in their pajamas and just sit around and watch a really cool movie that I hope that people like it as much as I do. I think they will. Yeah.
We'll have to bust out the PJ watching party for that. I think that'll be so much fun, right? Sarah's got new PJs.
Angela says, was it filmed in New York? So were either of these New York based?
Yes. So the Holiday Spectacular was filmed on site at Radio City, I was there for that part, and that was great. I mean, just being able to, I had the same moment I was talking about where she's standing on the stage in the movie, I basically had the same exact moment of like, I cannot believe I'm standing here right now. And then they shot a lot of the exterior New York stuff in upstate New York, in a little town that looks like old New York. Mm-hmm. And then the Jewish deli movie, Hanukkah on Rye, that was actually filmed in Winnipeg. And there's a part of Winnipeg that really does look like
Okay.
the Lower East Side of New York, So a lot of times it just depends on who's available and where they could shoot. But obviously for the Rockettes, it needed to be there. And that was the part of the magic about it was that we got to actually shoot there for 3 days.
Yeah, so, that's actually amazing.
One thing COVID did that helped us was that they had to I mean, I hate to say this because it was terrible. They had to cancel a few of their, a lot of their shows last year. I think though because I hate to say it, it's such a bad karma, but like I think that's part of the reason we were able to shoot when we did.
Well, you could just say something positive came out of the negative.
Yes, I will say something that positive did come out of it, and actually, having these Broadway caliber actors, that happened to me twice. So I had them for Holiday Spectacular, and then I had them for One Royal Holiday 2 years ago.
Right.
And they were all just huge Broadway stars that just weren't doing anything. So everyone's always asking for a sequel on that one. And I said, well, there's just zero chance we're going to get all those people back.
Because they're working now.
Broadway's there's no way. There's no way. Yeah.
Right. No. Amazing. Plus also I'm still like jealous that you were there and Kristen Chenoweth was singing. And I'm just still like, I put that up into our stories on it. You maybe figure this out. We have a podcast, Instagram, we have a different fan. I just we interrupt this regular programming because Kristen Chenoweth, right? It just
it was just, and she was just standing there 5 feet from me singing and doing her thing, and she's just a genius on stage anyway. But then it was just sort of, when you're in those moments where you can't believe that they're happening, and so I'm still sort of in that because it was only a week. It was only not even a week ago.
Yeah.
So I'm still sort of, and I've been so busy since I got home just because life, I have a family and all these other things to do. And so I feel like tomorrow I literally have 0 things on my calendar and I'm not going to work. And I'm just going to sit there and like go through all my pictures and make a reel, which I don't know how to do, but I have to figure it out.
I'm kind of good at it.
You guys want to call and tell me how to make a reel music with all my pictures? Feel free. I don't know how to do that. I'm terrible at this. So
no, you can do this. You can do this. We can make this happen for you.
You can do it. Yeah, it's not as hard as you think it is.
Right.
I mean, I haven't even attempted it. I'm sure if I Googled it, I could figure it out. But
they'll tell you how to do it with multiple pictures.
Yeah. Is there an app that can I just plug everything in and pick a song and it just
really you can do it right on Instagram.
Right on Instagram.
Pick reel and then pick the multi-picture, and then you pick a song, and then it will even shuffle your pictures. Sometimes it will shuffle your pictures for you and do the timing.
For the timing. Oh, okay. So I just have to pick a song, which is going to be impossible. So,
okay. Well, you can save it as a draft, and then like do it again, and then
try it with different songs. If anybody wants to suggest a good song, a good song,
I would just pick Kristen Chenoweth singing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that upbeat though, but still it's spectacular.
I love that Harry Styles song that people use all the time for that.
Oh yeah,
it works so well,
It does.
It seems like a little hacky now. Everyone's using it.
Right. I don't know. I moved on to Taylor Swift, who's dropped whatever.
Yeah.
Anti-hero. That one today.
I'll obsess over the song now for the next 24 hours. Of which
okay, that's okay.
It's healthy.
Tomorrow, put that on your calendar.
Super healthy.
Stephanie has a great question. She says, "Do you have an actor that you hope will portray one of your characters someday?"
Like a Hallmark actor or just any actor?
I think
how about say both?
Yeah.
Or pick both.
You know what? This is going to sound weird. I don't really, when I'm even thinking of ideas or writing, I don't really have anybody in mind.
Yeah.
And so I don't really think about that, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then also have a terrible memory. So I'm sure I have an answer for that for like like any actor in the world. And I can't think of any actors' names right now. I can't name one actor.
If you were Canadian, you would answer Ryan Reynolds because that's
yeah, that would be one. That's a really good one.
We always answer that.
All right, I'll say Ryan Reynolds. That's a good answer.
Let's just go with that.
Yeah,
that's really good. Or any of those funny kind of quirky dudes.
Right.
Yeah.
But Hallmark has those guys too.
Right. No, they have tons of them. Like the talent pool is pretty amazing, and many of them work in wide variety of things. Like they come and go in and out of Hallmark stuff. So.
Yeah,
You see him
absolutely.
in a lot of different things. So yeah, no, it's super exciting. So did you always want to be a writer, or did you get there by accident?
Well, I was always a writer, but I didn't. This is pre-internet when I was out of college. I kind of
Mhm.
aging myself, but anyway, doesn't matter. So I was going to be a copywriter, and I had my little suit, and I was going to go and be a copywriter in an ad agency, which I did. I went to college in San Diego, UC San Diego, and I was working at an agency, thinking, okay, that's cool. I mean, and I did all their funny ads, so I would do all their like fun copy, and that was like the year after I graduated, and then same day I got laid off it was like a downsizing because I was like the last person they hired, and then literally that night I got dumped.
Okay.
So. And I was doing stand-up comedy at the time, and which we don't need to really talk about, but I was doing stand-up at the time, and I was supposed to go on at like 11:45 that night at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst day ever. I can't go and do comedy. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go and just talk about the day. And I went up there and I did it. And then it turned out there was a sitcom writer named Rich Scheidner who used to write for Roseanne, and he was a big comedian. And we were just chatting, and he's like, well, wait a minute, you're a chick. He said he did say chick.
Thanks for noticing.
He said, you're a chick and you're funny and you're a writer. Like, why aren't you in LA writing sitcoms? And literally, I had just not, because you're not exposed to that the way you are now on the internet, where everybody knows, you can find out about anything, right? I just never thought about it. And so that was just the biggest epiphany of my whole life, of just like, of course, that's what I should be doing. I can't believe I haven't thought of that before. And I waited tables for a while, and saved up and moved to LA and didn't know anybody. And I just like faxed my resume everywhere.
Faxed it.
And then if they called my
confirmation fax,
beeper, I would call them back. And so no, I got and I was an editor in college at the paper, so I had the copy editing background. So I got a job as a writer's assistant on a show, and then I did sitcoms for a while, and then I got an agent. I mean, I'm making it sound way like like the shortest version of this. But then I'm still at the same agent that I was in 25 years. So
good choices, made good choices,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah. And so it just ended up leading. So yes, I was always a writer, but no, I didn't realize it was going to be screenwriting until that day. And then I knew that's the only thing I wanted to do. And I was always a huge fan of the genre, and I loved romantic comedies, and I loved all the old, like Philadelphia Story, and It Happened One Night, and His Girl Friday, and all those movies. And I loved them all. I just never thought about being someone that was allowed to write them. You just don't think about it, right? So that's where that came from. So then I ended up writing a couple feature film rom-coms that sold, and then that's kind of got me in the door for TV movies. I did a Lifetime one first, and then Liz brought me into Hallmark. So that is the story.
That's amazing, actually.
Story,
I love that path.
I tell people all the time, like I'm trying to tell my kid that too. Like, that was literally just one of the worst days of my whole life, was that day. And it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened, because I had nothing keeping me in San Diego anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I literally had nothing. I had no job and no boyfriend, right? So I'm like, well, I'm out of here. I don't have any reason to stay here.
Yeah.
And if I still was dating him or still had that job, I might not have had the guts to do it.
Right.
No, and you would have never been there doing stand up with a little, probably more edge than normal, because because it was that day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that made somebody notice you and say the things that got you moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I always say to people, like, you just never know what is happening to you might be for that reason that it's supposed to set you on a different path that you were on. So
I love that. And I like the reminder too that I have a lot of nieces that are like, in college and all that. I'm like, you don't have to know what you're going to do forever. Like, your journey can change more than once. And I know, when I graduated, I had no idea the scope of careers that were out there. I mean, we barely had the internet, It was just a very different world. And I think that's a great reminder that your life can take a different path at whatever age or whatever part of your career that you were in. So,
yeah, exactly.
I like that journey. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was wondering, if we should start favorite things. What do you think, Julie?
Yeah, we should do some favorite things because I
Yeah.
want to hear these.
So I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be the worst person that's ever done this because I told you I don't remember anything. I have to ask my husband, what's my favorite movie? What's my favorite song? my brain is so filled with like dialogue. I can't remember
I
anything
feel
about
like nobody is very good at this game.
It's one of my favorite things that people don't know, and they like are like, wait, I got like 3. Please just tell them to us.
Okay,
There's
go
no
ahead.
rules
Let's
to
try.
it.
Let's try.
Wait, let's start with an easy one. How about your favorite rom-com?
Oh, okay. That one's okay. That's either When Harry Met Sally,
Yeah.
Or, well, Pillow Talk. I
Okay.
don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah,
Love that
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have a comfort TV show, something you just turn on?
Oh, yeah. Wait, I do.
What is it?
The Office. The Office.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Greg. I need him here. He's gonna have to answer my question.
The Office is a great comfort TV show.
That is my comfort
choice.
show. That's
Just
absolutely my comfort.
Perfect.
Just put it on.
That's a
Just
great
put
question.
it
No
on.
one's ever asked me that. I like that.
Yeah.
What about your favorite hobby or activity that doesn't include writing?
Oh, watching football, but that's just because I was talking about the 49ers. So
Yeah.
that whole thing. But I also swim, like master swimming. And I have this random like graphic design thing that I love. I love just making little, like, I'm on the board of the newcomers club in my town, and I just I love doing graphic design stuff. So I'm always doing that as sort of on the side as just like a random hobby that I like to do.
It's a very Hallmark thing to do.
Isn't it? I know. I have a secret Etsy store that nobody knows it's mine, where I sell like JPEGs.
Also,
Do you really? That's awesome.
No one will ever find it.
But you like to graphic design. I feel like you're going to figure out how to make reels, and
I
then
know, really
the
fast.
monster's going to be unleashed. You're going
I
to be
feel
like,
like though that's the thing. I'm a little afraid to go down that rabbit hole because I feel like then I'm going to become like obsessed with it, and then I won't get my actual work done.
So do you have Canva? Do you use Canva?
My husband has it. He just showed it to me, and I'm like, oh my god, look at that.
Also make it in there.
put it on your phone. The stuff I can pound out of my phone is quite impressive.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, I have Canva free. You can go to Canva Pro.
All
and get
right,
more
I'll
things.
look at it.
Throw the Canva on, start watching some videos. But you can do a reel just right in Instagram. You don't have to do it. You can do it in Canva first. Do even more cool things, but just do it on Instagram.
Is that where like Elise Myers puts all her little graphics into her TikToks? Do you know what I'm talking about?
So when she did, I know who Elise Myers is. Absolutely,
Yeah.
she's brilliant.
Love her.
First of all, her humor is edgy and a little dark, and that makes me very
Yeah,
happy.
she's awesome.
She's
I'll make
amazing.
a follow. Yeah.
Yeah, but a
Oh,
lot
she's
of
great.
there's
You'll love
actually a lot of tools in TikTok, and she uses a lot of the things that are in TikTok, but you can also do them in Canva. There's ways to do it. And then you would make the whole video in Canva and drop it into TikTok or into your reels.
Okay.
Yeah. So how
It's
about
gonna
if you
take me all weekend to do one reel. This is what's gonna happen.
if you can just throw a bunch of pictures into a reel and pick some music and let it shuffle them, you'll be good.
Okay, but I have to edit the pictures and make sure that, like, I
They're
have to
tall
look
and skinny.
that
that
they're,
they're,
or that they're, it's the right angle and the light. Then have to relight and do all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, a little editing on the side is good too. You'll be great. You'll be great. You'll be great. Let's see.
Your turn.
My turn. Favorite foods, healthy and like your indulgent food.
Okay, healthy is sushi. Does that count?
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
I eat sushi all the time. And then indulgent. Okay, it depends on the time of year. Like Hanukkah would be a black and white cookie, not to be a stereotype or anything.
No,
but
delicious though.
I do love that. So I think around here there's all these farms and they have us ice cream that's so fresh, and so like I wasn't into it, and now I'm super into like random ice cream flavors that you know what I mean, like they're all these gourmet rando flavors, and now it's pumpkin, so like that's what I'm really obsessed with right now, is finding the best pumpkin ice cream. That's when, or any kind of I don't like it's funny, I've just been not into as much dessert stuff and more kind of
Indulgent can be anything, a steak or right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what it is. This is so, I'm like such a stereotype, but it is like a Reuben sandwich. That's what
but come on, delicious.
But it has to be, and this is an Easter egg. If you watch, like, I'm telling you, I have ranch dressing in probably 5 different movies because I love steak fries with ranch. That's my number one favorite thing. If I'm like, if I'm in a bet, it has to be fresh ranch. No Ken's ranch, no Ken's, none of that. Has to be fresh ranch. And I can tell. I can tell you, if they present a ranch to me at a restaurant, I can tell by the glisten. I can tell by the sheen of the ranch. I don't even have to taste it.
Okay, can I tell you the most Minnesota thing ever? We do everything with ranch. We get chicken strips.
Great.
You dip them in ranch. Like, don't be giving us anything else.
But you know what? I just hate ranch from a bottle. No, and I'll go to a nice restaurant and I'll have my steak and I went and have the big steak fries and I'm like, hey, do you have any? I hate to be like, but do you have any ranch? And I'm like, okay, but is it made in house? It's like such a, it's a Midwestern thing, but also such an LA thing to be like, oh my God, is it made in house? But I make my own.
Two things together. Add the two things together. Yeah.
Well, I think this could be maybe your second reel. You can
talk about ranch.
That's like your recipe. Yeah.
Yeah, your best homemade ranch recipe.
Hallmark writer discusses ranch dressing.
We'll repost for sure.
It's very important. It's very important that I talk about
this. It's important. These are the things that make a difference for us.
It's fun. How about your favorite vacation location?
Anything on a Disney cruise. I don't care where we're going. That's just my favorite thing. We're doing one. We're doing one soon.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So that's it. I love it. Because I love my son, okay, but like he also gets to have his fun and they have a great time, and then we can go have our vacation and we meet together and we enjoy our time as a family. But it's definitely the best version of both things, where you feel like you're getting your own vacation time as a family and as a couple and as so that's why
Disney knows what they're doing. They are not dumb.
They do. And we're gonna start. Now that my son's older, we're going to stop. It's going to be less cruising and more actual travel to Europe and all that stuff. So this is probably one of our last hurrahs.
Yeah. But you might be surprised. He might ask to do that again. Like,
he basically grew up at Disneyland. We had annual passes when I lived in LA, and he's been there so many times. So he definitely has that nostalgia aspect to Disney. We all do, actually. My husband used to be a Jungle Cruise skipper.
Oh my gosh.
At Disneyland.
That's amazing.
And his mother was a dancer at the Golden Horseshoe.
No way.
My cousin was on the Great American Movie Ride. He was an actor for
oh, really?
Years and years. Yeah.
What a great gig.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I mean, so our son
never left. He's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to. We told our son, you have to work at Disney at some point in college or something, just because you have to keep this tradition going.
Yeah.
We got engaged at Disneyland, so we have a whole Disney thing in our.
That's so cute.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
My husband hates Disney. I love it.
My Niner friend also goes on Disney cruises. Well,
no.
There you go.
You two maybe might need to meet.
Like my cousin or something.
She also makes serious gifts, so maybe Niner Girl Angela can start gifting all your movies for you too, so you can start texting your friends gifts from your movies. So
it's just all about all the ranch dressings from all the movies. Okay.
That would be fantastic.
I already did that.
It's funny. I talk about this, but I don't know. If the Hanukkah movie is long, then those are the kinds of things that get cut. So it might not. Maybe it
might not show up.
It'd be devastating. It would be devastating if the ranch wasn't in that movie, wouldn't it?
I don't know. But when I'm watching live, I need to be prepared with a tweet for when the ranch shows up.
Yeah, you do.
It has to be steak fries, though. None of these thin things. It has to be like the thick ones. I'm so hungry now.
Right? And I'm just thinking about, I'm just thinking about the ranch dressing, the homemade ranch dressing that's at this place that's not very expensive at all. But our son went to Iowa State in Iowa, and there's this place called Hickory Park, and their ranch dressing there is delicious. And I'm like,
it makes such a big difference. I tell my friend he owns a restaurant here, and I get mad. I always yell at him. I'm like, what are you doing, man, with the Kens? Your big jug of Kens back there. You make a nice salad, and
Give
then
me
you
some
ruin
homemade
it.
ranch.
You ruin it with your
A
with the
little
crap.
ramekin of gross.
The bad little thing with the out of the bottle ranch. Just
My favorite restaurant where I would buy ranch from them, like straight, and just keep it. They closed during COVID, and I was just like, "Oh no!"
Right? Oh, here's Diner Girl. You don't need to twist my arm to make Derek Klena and Jeremy Jordan.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's make that happen.
That's the thing. So I forgot. My gosh, I'm so sorry. Jeremy Jordan is the lead in the Hanukkah movie, and he's another Broadway big guy. So like between Jeremy, Derek, and then I had Aaron Tveit in One Royal Holiday last year, and Laura Osnes and Vicki Clark and Tom McGann, like all these people. Just it was, and none of them are singing hardly.
Yeah, but when Laura Osnes and Aaron Tveit were like both in that movie, I'm like, well, that's because Broadway shut down.
Yeah, I watched that again. Yeah, it was on like yesterday or something. I'm like, yeah, I still like that one. I watched that.
I still like that one.
That was pretty good.
I do that again.
I enjoy it. I don't watch all of them over again. I'll watch Birthday Wish when it's on, and I'll watch that one when it's on for sure. Marry Me at Christmas, when that one's on, I usually stop and watch that one. And then yeah, there's a few, but like that one I'll stop. I enjoy it, their performances a lot in One Royal Holiday. Yeah,
that's just fun. All right, let's finish up with one last favorite thing before we say goodbye. And do you have a favorite band or singer?
It changes, but it was Zach Brown for a long time. And that was my son's first concert was Zach Brown.
Fun. Yeah.
And then he's like, of course, he was like, hey, what's that smell? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You don't need to know what that is.
Nothing.
It's the skunk. It's a skunk. So, but growing up, so 80s, I was a big Duran person and Howard Jones and all that stuff. And I listened to a lot of show tunes and Broadway still. And then I just like, I like the XM, just going on XM and listening to all my classic rock, all my Eagles, all that stuff.
Well, Hotel California. Right.
I just and then I'm always practicing for Disney Cruise karaoke.
And what's your karaoke go-to
song? As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh my god, that was so stupid. Why did I say that?
Now we know. Next
drama, you're going up.
I think that night is when I think I started feeling sick and getting COVID. It was the night of the
karaoke
because I'm friends with Riley and she's like, where are you? I'm like, I don't know. Okay, for Disney Cruise, my husband, God love him, he learned the part to in Tangled, the duet, so he learned the male part as a surprise to me, and so we would do that one. And then my normal song is Let's Hear It for the Boy.
Okay.
Denise
Let's hear
Williams.
It for the boys.
And then this cruise, I may try and do Enchanted. That's How You Know, but that's going to take some liquid courage. I think
there's liquid courage available on those cruises.
Oh yeah, you bet. It's still, there's no casino, but there's plenty of the other stuff.
Yep, there's plenty of liquid courage available. Yeah, no,
a lot of liquid courage to get up and do any karaoke.
I know. I definitely want to do that next time there's Roma Drama. I'll get up there eventually. But
right. Drake Riley with you. So fun. We love Riley. Well, thank you for joining us. This is fun. We are
that was so fun. This is the most fun ever. Thanks, you guys.
Okay. Do you have any other projects? Do you have anything else we can look forward to after these two things?
Not officially. I have things that I've been writing and stuff for next fall. I don't know what I'm doing yet for next Christmas. We're just sort of taking a breath and just sort of like, there's stuff on my desk that's been sitting there and I have people waiting for rewrites that I haven't done because of this other stuff. So I'm trying to kind of clear the decks a little bit. And then
so
I met a lot of the actors at Radio City, and we had lots of chats about like, maybe we can do something, maybe we can do something together or something like that. So hopefully there will be some fun. I'm gonna say collab. You see how cool I am? I said collab. I'm gonna collab.
We'll be here for all your collabs. So.
Super cool. See, I'm gonna make a reel and I say collab. That's how cool I am.
You are cool.
Cool.
with
And
with the Instagram.
with the Instagram, use all the classic rocks. Sarah will tell you, I throw up classic rock kind of a lot
We
into
can
it.
always tell who puts the stories up usually by the music.
Yeah, although
Oh.
I will put up very contemporary stuff too, like
You do.
yeah, we have
I do like,
Sam's.
I look at TikTok. I like all the songs that I'm hearing, on the
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Yeah. We already have Taylor Swift's brand new song up. We've had Sam Smith's brand new song up. So
Love that one. Yeah.
yeah. So we run the whole gamut from one end to the other.
What's the dude who like has perfect pitch? He's on TikTok all the time. Oh my god! See, I don't remember his name. Never mind. Wait to
There's
edit.
some dude with perfect pitch on TikTok.
He's a Charlie. No, Puth. Charlie Puth.
Yeah. Charlie Puth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't really know about him until I saw him on TikTok, and now I'm kind of a fan of his too.
Yeah.
I like his music.
So many people that have gotten so
Yeah.
popular because of TikTok, right? Because it's easy access. It's amazing.
I'll still never do it.
We will look forward to a holiday spectacular. That's Sunday, 11/27, 8 Eastern time, and Hanukkah on Rye, and that is December 18th, 8/7 Central. Those are both on Hallmark.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. We
Thank
love
you guys. It was really, really fun. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you at the next Roma Drama. No one's going to get COVID, and we'll have
Nobody's gonna get COVID.
Right?
an awesome time.
So hang on 1 second. We'll say bye to everybody. We'll end the broadcast and then we can.
We'll talk to you when we're off. See
Okay.
you, everybody.
Bye.